So the first Saturday of this July international test window started about 18 hours ago, and it has just finished in La Plata, where Argentina hosted England. And these are my thoughts immediately following the full-time whistle. Spoiler alert, in case you're trying to avoid the game, watch it later. Here is the result. 12 points to 35. What a performance. That is performance of the day from any team. I'm trying to think through. The Waratahs were really spirited against the Lions. Fair play to Japan. No, that is the performance of the day. And fair play, an England team shorn of all of their British and Irish Lions put out a team that still had massive quality and put up a performance that follows on from the Six Nations and shows that England have got serious depth and talent. And I don't know, I wonder if that might be, you know what, it wasn't a full-strength Argentina either. They were giving a rest to a few players. No one's getting carried away. Got to back it up and back it up. But I wonder if that sort of performance and the manner of it, and without the players that there are, might start to make people realise Steve Borthwick is onto something here. He's building. He's had a lot of stick, I think unjustifiably, as I've talked about many, many times, and as was on show in this performance. The age profile of this England team is incredible. It's one of the youngest teams in world rugby. And they had, let's just start there, they had at the helm, pulling the strings, and the best player on the park for my money, despite not winning the man of the match, that man in the picture there on the day of his 100th test match, Centurion George Ford. What a player. And a great performance. He nailed all of his touchline conversions. He put England in the right parts of the field. Great kicking game. And set the attack in motion, taking the ball to the line on the front foot. And he led an England team which were just on it. Hard-nosed, nasty, strong set piece, huge defensive effort, and then really crisp on the attack. Lots and lots of positives as an Englishman there. Let me know what you think. I would be a little bit frustrated if I was an Argentinian. I imagine if you're an Argentinian rugby fan, you were probably half expecting it. There's something about this combination, Argentina-England, that just England match up really well with Argentina. And as soon as they saw George Ford with a drop goal, they were probably thinking, here we go again. And so it proved. Mind you, it was 3-0 at half-time to England. Just that drop goal was the only difference between the two teams. 32 points in the second half. A couple of tries for Argentina as well. But it was class from England. Right. Let's go back to the start. Argentina. I love it when they play in Argentina. They give it's got to be the longest national anthem in world rugby, hasn't it? You get the full length long one in Argentina. They got to the good bit eventually. And one thing I appreciated was how the Argentinians appreciated George Ford, paying him due respect. And that's lovely. And it is incredible, isn't it? England have 3 fly halves in Australia with the British and Irish Lions, and they can still field George Ford. Do you know what? I don't mind if it's George Ford. I don't mind if it's Finn Smith. I don't mind if it's Marcus Smith. I don't mind if it's Owen Farrell. It doesn't matter. England are stacked at fly half, and they're all great options. It's not a problem. So I've never understood the obsession and the sort of anger and vitriol that fly halves wearing number 10 for England can get when they fall out of favour and you want the next one. Got amazing options, and George Ford is one of those amazing options. Congratulations to him on his 100th appearance. The stash. Let's talk about the stash. Argentina have the best kit in world rugby. They always have. England, that kit, does that not look like a training kit to you? I quite like their new first kit that we saw against France. Not so sure about that Castor change kit. Not a fan of that one, but England played well in it. After a cagey start, big kicking game, massive shot on Henry Slade early, like the booms were flying in. Also, one observation, Angus Gardner, does that guy ever stop talking? Actually, as the game opened up in the second half and he was made to run a lot more, everyone was made to run a lot more. It was back and forth all over the shop, madness at times. Angus Gardner sort of quietened down. In that first half, it's like he'd just run on the pitch, having had 4 double espressos, and just wired, jabbering away. England were flying off the line defensively. Actually, I'm saying that about Angus Gardner. I actually thought he refereed really well and was just super clear. Didn't go to the TMO too much. And even when the TMO did get involved, it was very clear. Angus Gardner saying, I'm the boss. I'm going to make the decision. Thank you for showing me the pictures, as it should be. See the video on some of the stuff I talked about in previous games, New Zealand and South Africa against France and Italy, to see why I mentioned that now. England flying off the line in defence, and I was looking at it thinking, can they keep going with this? They did keep it up really well, generally speaking, throughout the game, certainly right through that first half. Massive energy off the line in defence. Huge shots going in, and I just thought that was really, really good. And again, another step on from where England have been and where the trajectory they have been on. The longer Steve Borthwick and his team get their feet under the table, the better and better they seem to be getting. Great kick from Argentina, pinned George Ford in coffin corner, but England, whenever they were near their own line, just scrambled really well. Argentina were wasteful, held up over the line, what was it, 3 times? And yeah, this during a period where they were 2 men up. England had 2 men in the bin. Alex Cole's first for a high shot. Then it was Seb Atkinson, team penalty just for too many pens. But even in that period, man down, George Ford dropped goal, and that was it for the first half. And Argentina wasted lots of opportunities. They had 2/3 of the territory. They had 2/3 of the possession in that first half. Didn't use it. Tom Willis is an absolute beast. Ben Curry is just a machine. He is relentless. And Sam Underhill was brilliant as well. And there is an argument. You could make a case for all 3 of those guys. Ben Curry, Sam Underhill, Tom Willis. You could genuinely make a case that they should be in Australia with the British and Irish Lions. And that if they were in Australia with the British and Irish Lions, they would all be contending for a Test Match 23 spot. That is how good England's back row depth is. It's wild, the number of great players they've got. And I've got to say, Alex Dombrandt looked really good when he came on. He put it about. Yeah, awesome defence, 3-0 half-time. Second half, different game altogether. The one thing we saw a bit of in the first half, we saw loads of it in the second half. Ben Spencer, the crispness of his passing was so good. The speed that George Ford was coming onto the ball at, so good. And the depth and the speed of the runners coming onto the ball, again, really, really good. And it just meant England could go narrow and whack it up because they had people getting ahead of steam, and that just meant the ball was really fast and options were there out wide, or you could go out the back. And England just were running all of these different shapes, all these different angles. And the decision makers, Ben Spencer, George Ford, Henry Slade at times as well, were making really, really good decisions. And I'm just going to single out one other player. Tom Roebuck was the man of the match. He was very good as well. Lots of good players. I thought Freddie Stewart, just have a think about what it must have been like being Freddie Stewart. Go back a couple of years and he was, the fullback position for England is sorted for the next 10 years. He'll be a British and Irish Lion come the next tour. What a player, best in the world. And his performances, the game kind of changed, the rules changed, the way teams manipulate space with kicking changed a little bit. And Freddie Stewart has fallen out of favour. George Furbank's gone ahead of him in the pecking order. Marcus Smith has been tried at fullback. He's looking at Elliot Daly, was out there in Australia. Freddie Stewart, back in the England team for the first time since, in the England starting team, for the first time since that game in Dublin, where England lost in the Six Nations. I just thought he was absolutely magnificent. And not just aerially, because actually Argentina got at him quite well. Iskro was brilliant there. I just thought he was outstanding, full stop, in attack, distribution. Was it him that did it was a 50-22 near the end. It was like a 22-22. Absolute beast of a kick as well. Roebuck, yeah, really good try. Stewart scored a nice try. Slade and Atkinson, brilliant as decoys. And Ford pulled it out the back. Stewart is running through a hole. He had to pick of 3 different options. Argentina's defence can't cover all bases, and Ford has got the skill to put the right one through the hole. Roebuck scored again. Lovely little lift off the deck from Joe Hayes. That was, England won a penalty, and George Ford, who'd already put the pressure on Argentina with territorial kicking to force the pen, then stuck it in the corner. Tight phases, Joe Hayes with the pass to Tom Roebuck, and they're done. There was a couple of unbelievable moments from Argentina, just to flip it onto them for a minute. The Rubiolo try was unreal rugby. I think Matera had already scored as well. There was that Thomas Gaggio break. That try from Rubiolo, contender for try of 2024. It could be on the shortlist. It should be on the shortlist. Probably will be on the shortlist at the World Rugby Awards for try of the year. It was unreal. Down the short side, intricate passing, offloads. So good. And Rubiolo with an engine that meant he got there to be the last man on it. Vamos, Argentina. When they play, they are absolute ballers. The crowd woke up as well for a little bit until Picardo gave away a penalty. Ford made it a 13-point lead. And then Ford put another penalty over. 12-28, game over. Icing on the cake was that Murley try. Just brilliantly worked by England. Power, hard runners, great depth from the back lines, decoy runners holding the defence. Murley running around and outside. The defence had to be interested because Slade was out there running a good line. Murley goes through, finishes really well. Jobbed. Fair play, England. Well done. England move up to 5th in the world rankings. They've beaten Argentina in Argentina. And yes, Argentina were without Albanese. Argentina were without Oviedo. They're without Kremer. They're without Molina. And Gaggio was on the bench. They've got other props that weren't starting. So this wasn't full bore Argentina. Mateo Carreras injured. But England have got all those guys away with the Lions. And the pressure is on for those spots. And Steve Borthwick has got a very, very good problem. And like I say, the depth is building. I'm not getting carried away at all. But there are steps being taken forward. And I loved the cut of England's jib. Horrible, hard defence. And some crisp, fluent attack. Fair play. I'll see you on the next one.